be shuttered. Prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000-square-foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped-accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Midpress News reports that, in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A mouse is eaten. It is an event that happens millions of times a day, all over the world. Other mice are wiped out by disease or starvation. If you collected all the mice that die in one day in New York City, they would weigh 8,000 pounds. If you stacked up an equivalent amount of dead humans or even mangy dogs, it would be considered an atrocity. It seems no one has any respect for the mouse. But then, why should they? The plankton of mammals. They breed rapidly. They all look identical, and they once spread the plague. No one weeps for the mouse, for its life is worth less than zero. Just another cold fact of life on this horrifying planet.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever happens to be on your mind. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And that is where you can join us, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian.
I'm Lee Vincent.
And so big day here in Keene, Vincent, the new Vietnamese restaurant that has made international headlines in recent months, which is has the wonderful name of Pho Keene Great. That's actually the name of the restaurant because it's pho noodles, and it's in Keene, New Hampshire, and it's great. They opened their doors today for the first time after, like I said, international press coverage that generated toward the very end of 2018, like right at the very end, post-Christmas, and blew up huge with people all over the world hearing about this restaurant and the controversy, which really the controversy was from what the city of Keene did, where the city manager, whose name is Elizabeth Dragon, she attacked the restaurant, which is trying to rent the city's space that is right next to City Hall here in downtown Keene, and had been renting it for several months before the city manager decided to call her on Christmas Eve and tell her she thought the name of the business was offensive. And
to whom? Offensive to whom?
Wasn't clear. Potentially, it could have been offensive to somebody who was a humorless hack. But
or Vietnam vets, you don't want to trigger a flashback.
Ultimately, the city failed in its efforts to intimidate the restaurateurs, and they stood strong for their freedom to call their restaurant whatever they wanted. And they got a bunch of press coverage. I don't know how many millions of dollars worth of free publicity that they were given by various different media that had reported on this. But I mean, they were being talked about on like late night television talk shows.
Oh, really? Any of the big name ones?
Some name. I don't know what the dude's name was. I mean, I don't pay attention to these shows.
I think the biggest place I saw it on was Fox News. It was like they did a whole. It was like a VOSOT pretty much with just text. It was. I was surprised.
What's a VOSOT?
Well, it's like a voiceover sound on tape, but instead of it being a voiceover, it was just text. So I guess they were too cheap to hire someone to do the voice for it. But yeah, it was like a web story on Fox, and they like took the time to do graphics for it and make a little video presentation and everything. So it did get pretty big up there.
So yeah, it went all over the place, and the city of Keene, after about 3 weeks, backed down, and they approved the Keene Great sign that was put up, victoriously placed upon the building, and their grand opening was put off by an extra week. They still had some, permitting issues and such, because there's a bunch of, government obedience that goes into opening up a restaurant, unfortunately. And finally opened their doors this afternoon. I was there. Matt was there also, who sometimes appears with us on the after show. I don't know if he'll be joining us tonight, but we will be doing an after show tonight, Twitch only, 10 p.m. Eastern time. You can view that at twitch.lrn.fm. And Matt and I went in there, and there was probably about 25 people. We were about 20 people back in line when we got in line that were waiting to get in today, and they opened up the doors, and there was applause, and folks went in, and there was probably at least a dozen staff members that were on hand there, and the food was good. So if you get up to Keene, New Hampshire, you definitely want to check out Keene Great. It's right there in downtown Keene in Central Square. And you can, and of course, merchandise was available right there at the front. Our own Chris Reitman from Thursday nights was sitting there at the merch table selling T-shirts and stuff like that. And if you wanted to grab the Keene Great T-shirt and hat and all that stuff, it's over at the Route 101 gift store at route101gifts.com. You can order them online. We've had people ordering them from as far away as Afghanistan and even Australia, as a matter of fact. So we got stuff to talk about here tonight that's still in the news, because it's not really international news when a restaurant opens its doors normally, but in this particular case, it's a follow-up that many of you probably were interested in, hopefully. So you've got a story, Vincent, about Facebook Plus. Marijuana sales are on mostly, according to the story over at bostonglobe.com. Most marijuana sales in Massachusetts are on the black market, even though it's now legal to go to physical locations and purchase it. But you wanted to talk about, I guess, an attack on Facebook. Now, by no means am I a fan of Facebook, but it sounds like they may need some defending in this particular case. What's going on, Vincent?
Well, so I saw it on Drudge recently. I don't have it in front of me, but it's what got my attention to it is normally, like, I don't doubt it was Elizabeth Warren saying that antitrust needs to be used against some of these big tech companies like Amazon and Google. Mm-hmm. And normally I'm like, just same old state is trying to get something banned. But what I found interesting about this one is it's what a lot of alt-right people, including Alex Jones and Chris Cantwell, are calling for: antitrust to be used to take down Facebook and Google.
Yeah, I remember when Cantwell had brought that up, because we had an interview with him a little while back, and in fact he's going to be on with Aria DiMezzo on a very special She-Male versus Nazi episode of it's not going to be Free Talk Live, it's just going to be Aria's show with Chris. It's going to air exclusively on Twitch, at least until Twitch takes it down. But yeah, Cantwell at one time, and I actually had gotten into a long discussion about this, where he wanted to see the government regulate social media. And I said, Chris, you sound a lot like the communists that you purport to hate. And now you're saying that, indeed, here's Elizabeth Warren coming out with basically the Chris Cantwell position.
So Elizabeth Warren supports, I guess, the or I shouldn't say supports, but yeah, has common goals with a crying Nazi. I thought that was one of the
politics makes for strange bedfellows, as they say.
So it's here. This is from NBCnews.com. It's titled "Elizabeth Warren Calls to Break Up Facebook, Google, and Amazon." Warren has been part of a growing group of Democrats calling for greater regulation and antitrust enforcement of major tech companies. Even though, I mean, what I find strange about her saying this is that most of these companies are, or at least the people working and running it are on most likely her supporters, or at least would support. There's a huge bias for Clinton at Google and everything, so this is curious.
So it does seem like people on the left are more likely to be in the technical or IT kind of fields. It does seem like that.
Well, especially since Silicon Valley's in California.
Sure, yeah, it's a good point.
So Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts on Friday called for the government to break up Facebook, Google, and Amazon, offering a plan to recategorize the companies and reverse some major tech acquisitions. Warren, who is running for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020, has been a part of a growing faction within the party that has called for greater regulation and antitrust enforcement of major tech companies. 25 years ago, Facebook, Google, and Amazon didn't exist. Now they are among the most valuable and well-known companies in the world, Warren wrote in a post on the blogging platform Medium. It's a great story, but also one that highlights why the government must break up monopolies and promote competitive markets.
Okay, so where's the monopoly? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think when they say monopoly, it's not like Google is going around buying up Yahoo or DuckDuckGo. I think it's just like it's one... and I'm not sure if it's just me guessing what they're saying, because they never elaborate what they mean by a monopoly, either on the left nor the right. I think it's just because most people use these services. I mean, YouTube used to be an independent company, and then it got bought up by Google. Now there's nothing can compete, not Brighteon or BitChute or anything. So I think that's what they mean.
Well, they're wrong because the word monopoly has a very specific definition. And a monopoly is basically something that exists without any kind of competition, usually enforced by a government.
Which is why they put virtual monopoly, right?
Did she use the term virtual monopoly?
No, I'm just saying in general, a lot of the times when they're confronted by that argument, they say it's a virtual monopoly. That but most
of the time they don't do that.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, but that's a response, right? Because they say it's a virtual monopoly.
That means it's not a monopoly, right? If you put the word virtual in front of it, that basically says it's not a monopoly.
Well, one could say it's a form of equivocation, but I think what they mean
totally what it is.
What they mean by that virtual means that there are alternatives, but none of them can compete.
Well,
that Google's always going to be the top dog. I mean, that's what they're saying. I'm just.
Let's talk about that, because at all the times in history where there's been a top dog, the top dog hasn't stayed the top dog forever. It's just not. It doesn't happen.
Well, usually because of a government or another one.
There's more on the way here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Break up Facebook? What?
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us right here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The only problem today at the grand opening of the new Pho Keene Great restaurant here in Keene, New Hampshire, was that they don't take cryptocurrency yet. And the funny thing was, I could have bought a T-shirt from Chris Reitman, who was standing at the entrance with cryptocurrency. So the gear is available for crypto, but the food itself, not yet. But if you run a business, you've got a brick-and-mortar place where people come in and buy stuff or buy your services, you can easily get started with cryptocurrency acceptance over at helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's where you can go. It's the folks over at AnyPay, who we've talked a lot about here on Free Talk Live. They've got a great system that makes it super easy. If you've got a tablet at your cash register, you're pretty much almost done. You get started over at helpmetakebitcoin.com, and within moments, you'll be accepting Bitcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, and others. It's up to you which ones you want to take. And, of course, there's no fees to accept cryptocurrency through AnyPay. Go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's Ian and Vincent in the studio here tonight. Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. We're starting out with a story. Elizabeth Warren, who I guess she's one of the ones running for president, right?
Yes, on the Democrat ticket.
Calling to basically break up Facebook, Google, Amazon. These are three of the names that she actually that she named.
Yeah, those are in the headline, and yeah, that's the ones she named.
And was it she who called them monopolies? Because the word monopoly was brought up here, and these companies were targeted with that word.
Yep. She said, well, I mean, she didn't, she just said they need to break up monopolies, so she didn't call any one by name monopoly, but she mentioned it in the same paragraph. So
she's suggesting that the three of those companies are monopolies.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is not true in any way, shape, or form. They are all subject to competition. there's no doubt that Amazon is a huge company. There's no doubt Google is a huge company. Facebook is a huge company. These are definitely three of the biggest companies in the world, if not certainly the tech world. But that doesn't necessarily that doesn't mean they're a monopoly. Monopoly is a single operating entity that is usually enforced. Its monopoly is enforced by the government. Meaning, so like a good example of this is in most places the power company. You have one company from which you can choose. There is no choice when it comes to power companies. Yeah, you could try to go off the grid, maybe get some solar panels or hook up a bicycle to a generator or something like that. So, I mean, there are alternatives, but as far as power companies are concerned, they're usually granted a geographically based monopoly by the local government.
Well, I mean, living in the area I lived in, which had a high number of socialists, and I've come to figure out that when a socialist calls a company a monopoly, it doesn't necessarily mean like the dictionary definition of it. It means any company that's making a lot of money and that they want to shut down, and that they want to shut down specifically.
Well, they don't necessarily want to shut it down. They just want to get more money out of it. They want to regulate it.
Well, when I say shut it down, I mean shut down the way it's the way it's working,
the way it's currently operating.
Yeah. So that when they want to, or I should say, go after it. When they want to go after it, they call it a monopoly just because people aren't smart enough to think, gee, is this actually a monopoly? And they just go and say, oh, these people have more money than me, envy, and then take it down.
They didn't care or even know about ride sharing until Uber got big. You know, if it was just a few people riding around with, their own cars doing ride sharing, they would never have cared or noticed it for the most part. But once it becomes a threat to the status quo, well, then all of a sudden the government acts like they're very concerned and they need to get involved, and we need regulations. It's safety. It's about the consumer. It's about the children.
Oh, well, I understand when you talk about in the case of Uber or is what they call disruptive technologies, but in this instance, I don't think
Amazon's a disruptive technology.
Well, but all these companies work very closely with the U.S. government.
Sure they do.
And so I don't think in this case, like, it is just my personal thing. It's like for up until now, it's mainly been people on the right who've been censored who are calling for all these companies to be shut down. I think this is the first major leftist figure I've seen. So part of me thinks a lot it's rhetoric because the government likes Facebook a lot. They like Google a lot because they could track what people are doing, and they like Amazon because they do. I think the government might be one of Amazon's biggest customers because all the cloud computing that Amazon's doing. I think Amazon, they get subsidized per package, so they have a very good relationship with the government. Which makes me think this is just rhetoric on her part.
Yeah, well, that's a great point because it probably is, given she's running for office, right? So when politicians run for office, they make all kinds of big promises. Many of them, they must know they have no chance of actually making that happen, right? So she can say whatever she wants about how bad she wants to break up these companies, but she knows how dug in they are with the government and that she'll never have a chance of doing it. So it's totally safe for her to make those promises, right?
Oh, especially now that the Democrat sphere is saturated with socialists. That they have to, like with someone like AOC, Elizabeth Warren isn't edgy or hip anymore. So I think we're going to see a lot of these socialists and Democrats try and outdo each other of who hates capitalism more, who wants to give more free stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is.
Well, arguably that's a good thing, right? If they do that. Because then people will push back against it, hopefully?
Well, that's the thing, hopefully. I mean, it might be a good thing just to point and laugh and say, wow, this person wants to give everyone literally free money, or they want to destroy companies. But then once one of these people gets in office or gets elected, because I have zero doubt that there's, majority of people will support just getting free stuff or just any sort of the envy mentality or anything. I mean, I've totally lost hope for the country.
So you don't think Trump can win a second term?
I mean, at this if he does win a second term, I've underestimated the gullibility of his hardcore supporters. But no, I mean, I think at the current way he's going now, I mean, it's like he's acting like Jeb Bush would have, right? It's like it's just, what I could have imagined from a Jeb Bush presidency. So yeah, I don't think Trump. I think there's a good chance that he won't get reelected in 2020.
If you want to join us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So what more does Warren or whoever have to say on the subject of breaking up these big tech companies?
Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts on... Okay, read that all right. Warren's call also comes as Democrats have begun to plan for an increased oversight of tech companies after taking control of a House. On Wednesday, House and Senate Democrats introduced legislation to establish strong net neutrality protections that would look...
Oh, they're trying to bring it back?
It appears so. That would look to prevent major service providers from using their power to manipulate how users experience the internet.
Has anybody had a different experience of the internet since they rolled back on this net neutrality stuff? Remember when Trump rolled that, the FCC rolled it back under Trump?
Yeah, via Ajit Pai, and he had a video explaining it. Yeah, I remember when net neutrality was a big thing, and it was like, it was so deceptively marketed towards people. And I remember I supported it at one point, and then I realized, because it's like, oh, these big companies, and then I realized, well, wait a minute, this is giving power over to the government, which I'm also not comfortable with. So
worse.
It's like, heads they win, tails you lose.
Right.
Alien versus Predator.
Whoever wins, we lose. So yeah, that is absolutely the case. And if you want to jump in here, we also have the Discord lines at discord.lrn.fm and 855-450, free like freedom.
Oh, it gets into her plans too here. She has she's come up with specifics. Few Democrats, however, have actively called to break up tech companies, as Warren did on Friday. Warren said in her post that the consumer experience of most internet users is dominated by Facebook, Google, and Amazon, which can then, quote, use the internet to squash small businesses.
Those companies earned it. I mean, as much as I dislike Facebook, the fact is they got where they are by providing people something they wanted. Now, arguably, they've crippled the services that they once provided in order to try to make more money. But anyway, there's more coming up here on the potential breakup of Facebook coming up.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Free Talk Live.
It's not just zoning rules, it's everything.
It's true.
It's everything. There's
so many rules.
Many laws. You can't possibly know them. It's physically an impossibility to know the laws. You know not to hurt other people. I don't need a law telling me to do that. But the rest of them? Totally inaccessible.
It's true.
It's written in legalese. If you don't have training in reading that crap, it might as well be a foreign language. And as you pointed out, it doesn't matter if you can read it.
I thought I had them dead to rights. And these bureaucrats, they just like, no, we do whatever we want here at the zoning board.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll kiss our butts.
Peon, serf,
you'll
slave.
You'll do what we say.
Yeah. Why label them citizens?
Oh.
Why not just call it what it is? You're a serf. You're a slave.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010.
The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free here and join us to bring up whatever it is that you want to discuss. We're talking about the false claims about monopolies of Google and Facebook and Amazon. This Elizabeth Warren siding with Nazi Chris Cantwell here in this case, saying she wants the government to regulate these companies.
Well, now, Ian, let's not use hyperbole. Neo-Nazi. Because he's not a member.
Because he's a newer Nazi?
Well, no, because he's not a member of a German's Workers' Party of however you want to pronounce it.
Okay.
So we got to be consistent. You don't want anyone to accuse you of being hyperbolic here.
So, anyway, she says she wants to regulate these big tech companies and claims they're monopolies, which is obviously false on its face, but that's what appeals to people. Nobody likes a big company. And look, I can understand where people are coming from. I mean, big companies suck in a lot of ways.
Oh, especially these ones with all the censorship going on.
On Facebook?
Yeah, and the
YouTube?
data mining, data selling, changing search results to benefit one party over another, banning, only applying your rules to one political spectrum versus while letting the other one give death threats and such. And that's Twitter. She didn't mention Twitter, but anyway, either way, so I'm sure on Facebook it's the same thing.
So you've got the story from, where was it?
This is from NBCnews.com. Okay. I know, just such a radical place here. Warren said in her post that consumer experience of most internet users is dominated by Facebook, Google, and Amazon, which can then, quote, use the internet to quash small businesses and innovation and substitute their own financial interests.
She posted on her Facebook page. And I don't know where she posted. Was it Twitter?
It's a post.
Maybe she's got a blog or something like that. Just curious. It's not that important.
In a blogging platform, Medium.
Okay.
Which I don't know. It could be possible.
Oh, Medium.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do one of those companies that she mentioned own it?
No, I don't know anything about who owns Medium.
There's good stuff on there. I like the platform.
Yeah, I've seen some good stuff on there.
Warren, lost my place. Use the internet to quash small businesses and innovation and substitute their own financial interests for the broader interests of the American people. Warren's plan calls for legislation that would feature a new business category for companies with more than $25 billion of global revenue that also, quote, offer to the public an online marketplace, an exchange, or a platform for connecting third parties. These companies would be called, quote, platform utilities. That's exactly what Jones and I can't speak for Cantwell, but that's what. Yeah, I think that's what Cantwell says too. That they
make them into a utility.
Yeah, so they can't discriminate who's on or not.
It's disgusting. I mean, look, and when I tried to talk to Chris Cantwell about this, because he used to be a libertarian. As longtime listeners of this show know who Chris Cantwell is. He used to be a co-host here on Free Talk Live. He used to be a libertarian. He was a crass comedian libertarian, and he still is pretty crass. But now he's a literal Nazi, and he's butthurt because these companies, he sees them as being run by leftists, and he wants them regulated so his posts are not censored on these platforms. And I tried to explain to him, Chris, don't you remember when, the answer was clearly let the market handle this? If you don't like the way a company is doing business, don't put your content there. Go somewhere else. There are other options. I mean, you suggested that they can't compete, Vincent, but that's not true.
Well, I didn't suggest that. Well, actually,
you did earlier.
Well, I'm saying what they think, but I suppose I also do agree that it's once you have so many people, people are born with YouTube. There's YouTube Kids, right? Mm-hmm. You have some children born at ages as young as 2 have a tablet. And I'm even hearing about like videos for babies on YouTube. So when you have all these companies with children, it's going to be like a Wayland Yutani situation.
The fictional company from the Alien movies. Anyway, the suggestion that these companies can't, or the smaller companies can't compete, is just not true. There are other options out there. You don't have to buy things on Amazon. There are plenty of other dealers online that will sell you things.
Telegram is like way better than Messenger.
As far as Facebook Messenger is concerned,
there's a and it's becoming more mainstream too. Telegram. I've been seeing a lot more different diverse Telegram groups, different organizations having a Telegram.
And there are other social media companies and organizations. So I mean, of course, Twitter's also a big corporation, but it is a competitor to Amazon, or excuse me, not Amazon, to Facebook. And there's even an alternative to Twitter called Mastodon that Free Talk Live has an account on over at toot.freetalklive.com. That's where you can follow our toots on Mastodon.
Oh, yeah, and a whole other group of 12 people.
No, there's actually thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on Mastodon across the world, and there are thousands of Mastodon servers because it's decentralized. So there's no one person who's in charge of every Mastodon server. Each server has their own administrator, and each server gets to set their own rules.
Well, I'm just saying, in terms of reach and how many people are on there. Just because every time I log on to Mastodon,
you can't reach anyone on Facebook unless you pay them.
Oh, yes.
So this is the mythology part of the mythology around Facebook that they smartly built for themselves, because at one time you could easily reach your friends and your followers on Facebook, and then Facebook basically pulled that feature and made it paid only, to where when you post on Facebook, some people will see it, but it'll only be a fraction of your followers. A fraction of, meaning a very small number of your followers. Not 2/3, but a 10th or 100th or something like that. So you can't really reach people on Facebook. If you give them $20, they'd be happy to show your thing to their
which
friends.
Sort of does bring into the question if, what's the point? What's the point of having this Facebook page advertised for to get 100,000 likes just to have a fraction?
I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense, and that's one of the things. I left the Free Talk Live page behind with 90,000 likes on it, and it's still there. There are still people who are kind of taking care of it. My roommate actually is one of the people who posts to it just because it's fun, because some people see it, because the audience is large enough to where, maybe a couple hundred people out of the 90,000 will see your typical post there, which is nothing, right? 200 or 300 out of 90,000 that's pennies.
And I'll say another issue about these alternatives is creating internet gulags in a way, right? Take Gab, for instance, right?
Okay,
Gab is where
this is the sort of right-wing
it's
alternative.
For everyone. Well, I mean, it's most of its users are right-wing. It's for anyone. So I mean,
but they have the frog in the logo, right? So that's kind of like a hallmark. It's sort of a telltale indicator that this might be a right-wing website, because for whatever reason, the right-wingers on the internet have adopted the frog.
Pepe the frog, which actually is, I think it's trademarked or copied.
Yeah, they didn't use Pepe. They used some other frog.
It would have gotten sued. But it's so on Gab, it's and I'm sure if I spent more time on Mastodon, I'd find this is the issue on Mastodon also. It's you have all these people who get kicked off these platforms or, disgruntled with these platforms. They all agree. It becomes a total echo chamber, right? And so no new people are getting any info. And it's just the same people just going on to the same things, and it's and into oblivion, right? Speaking into oblivion, and they get forgotten.
Well,
right?
all of these platforms have the echo chamber function to them. I mean, most people.
Well, not always. Back before Twitter started becoming biased in their bannings, it used to be a great place for people to have discussions, and it was like a commons, right? It was like a free speech commons of the 21st century.
Well, that's what Cantwell wants, right? He wants the government to force these companies to be a commons.
And and I will add, it's they use a real life as an example, but in some places there are no free speech commons, in Hanover, right? There's here in Keene versus Central Square, which is owned by the government, right? It's government. Right. In Hanover, maybe it's because it's a college town, it's the Green, right? And a private company, Dartmouth, owns most of the land there. So my friend Dave, who's been banned from Dartmouth property for coming out against some of her pollution practices, he's banned from all Dartmouth property.
Mm-hmm. So he can't go to the commons.
He can't go. No, not just the commons. He can't go half the places in Hanover.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is, I brought it up as a example of no real-life commons, but this is what happens when you give companies too much power.
855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I wouldn't call that giving companies power. It's just ownership of land. Don't like it, don't live there.
Yeah, but they're symbiotic with the town of Hanover, so...
Well, that is a problem when...
And that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these companies, while maybe not symbiotic, they have deep ties into the government. So I'm not saying... I'm not supporting what Elizabeth Warren's saying. I'm just saying these companies don't deserve any defense or support.
We got more on the way here. Well, I still will have to support them because the government is worse. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go to their and use Facebook's product. There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here to bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to join us there. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
Don't forget, coming up later this evening, we're going uncensored, or at least no FCC censors. I got to be careful because Twitch does have their own censor, policies, but they're not as bad as the FCC. So no FCC censorship after 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to Freer Talk Live on the Twitch platform, only on Twitch through twitch.lrn.fm. If you're not following us on Twitch yet, then please drop by our Twitch channel and hit the follow button. You do need to have a Twitch account. That's free. And if you've got an Amazon account, you pretty much already are on Twitch. You just don't know it because Amazon owns Twitch. They bought it a few years ago.
Monopoly, Ian. It's buying up everything.
No, it's not buying up everything. There's plenty of video streaming services out there that are not run by... In fact, Amazon is a competitor to YouTube. Twitch is YouTube. I would say it's its biggest competitor right now. I don't know if there's anything else out there. Vimeo, I'm not sure what kind of market share they've got.
Very niche for Vimeo.
Yeah, it seems like Vimeo's more of like targeted at the filmmaker world.
Well, I think, and maybe just going too far off topic, I think in some of these cases, like, a free market solution to these, I guess, so-called virtual monopolies is that a lot of people are just going to stop using it. Because if it's just an echo chamber, right, everyone believes it, like it's just all leftist echo chambers, people are going to leave because it's going to be boring, right? And you might as well just go to your library. So, like, I'm even thinking my business leaving YouTube and going to BitChute, because BitChute, BITCHUTE.com, it doesn't mess around.
Isn't that a crypto-based one? Isn't that like based on the blockchain or something?
I'm unsure. I just been liking it a lot. Like, it doesn't have a terrible user interface like Brighteon, formerly known as Real.video. And yeah, I've just been preferring BitChute. I just wish there's more people on there, or at least my followers. I think it'd be worth Free Talk Live getting a BitChute on there.
Yeah, it's one of those sites where I'm looking at their main page right now. It's one of those sites where it just infinitely scrolls, so you can't go to the bottom of the page and like try to learn more. Okay, here's a menu on the left. Never mind. So yeah, I'm not sure. I know I've heard about this, and I'm curious to know what its blockchain, if it's related to Bitcoin. Oh, it's BitTorrent. Okay, so BitTorrent is the old file sharing system where it's sort of noteworthy because a lot of the Pirate Bay and other sites like that use torrents. So this is some sort of a torrent-based thing. So meaning that each video that you upload must have to have seeds in order for it to be available, right?
Yeah,
have you actually used the product, or are you just familiar with it existing?
Well, no. I don't know how the mechanics of it work. I do have quite a few videos up on there, and some of them have, obviously not like YouTube levels popularity, but
Do you have to run an app?
No. It's pretty easy for me. All I do is just upload
to the website.
Yep.
And then there's no app that you have to run.
No, not on my none that I've noticed.
Yeah, that's something I'll have to learn a little bit more about. But Free Talk Live is up on, or at least Free Keen, I think, is on Library. Maybe we need to get Free Talk Live up there one of these days. Anyway, the toll-free number if you want to join us here is 855-450-FREE. So the quote that you were reading from Elizabeth Warren about Facebook, Google, Amazon, she called them what kind of utilities? They're going to make a new class. She's got some law. Platform utilities. It was over $25 billion in revenue, if I recall correctly.
Global revenue.
So
now all these companies are going to try to figure out a way to hide their money in space.
Well, or they could just have subsidiaries or whatever that aren't the same company, but they're basically the company, kind of like how companies can have these different sub-companies.
Shell companies. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not Google. It's not Google. It's Google France. That's a different company. It's got a different LLC or a different name to it.
Or they just divert all of their revenue. I don't know, or maybe it's profits. They divert all of their revenue into like stock buyback, just inflating the price of their stock. Or just all be. I mean, there's if anything passes, there's going to be ways for like the top 1% of a 1% of these CEOs and companies to get around it. Yeah, it's always the little people who have to deal with taxes, right? The people who matter, the big people, they're always in the back room somewhere cutting deals, and they make off like bandits.
Well, right, and of course, like you said, these companies have major connections to the government. They're not going to do anything to upset them too much.
I mean,
and this is just tough talk. This is just political, talk for the purpose of campaigning. That's all this is.
It could be, or I think like one way that it could work out to Amazon's and or all these companies in the government's favor is, and there's some talk of it's like, the days of the internet being the Wild West are over, right? With ICANN and everything. So one theory is that soon the internet is going to be like cable, right? There's going to be a few thousand websites you could visit, Netflix, YouTube, all those, and everything else is just tightly controlled and regulated. So
I don't agree with that. That's paranoid.
Well, people would have said 100 years ago, like, oh, there's not going to be a perpetual income tax. You're being paranoid. Oh, there's not going to be cameras everywhere and smart TVs listening to you. You're paranoid, but it could happen. So I'm just saying this is something that could happen. So if the whole platform utility thing, they could say, oh, well, yeah, you have free speech. You have all these different companies, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and it's all protected. Then it's obviously not going to be protected. It's going to be a gigantic screw job. So I think that might be one angle that they might be trying to play at. But on their own, we don't know.
Tell me more about what she has to say, or whatever.
Warren pointed to Amazon's operation of its marketplace and its sale of Amazon quote basics as an example of a violation of a proposed legislation. She also said that Google's
Amazon's basics violate her proposed legislation?
Operation of its marketplace and its sale of Amazon quote basic. Oh,
I'd like to know more. I mean, I'm not saying you would know this, but I'd love to have her explain how it is that Amazon's selling what is essentially a generic brand private label product. So like in my drawer over here, there's batteries from Amazon. The Amazon, I think Basics is what the
charger. I just pulled it up. Amazon Basics. So batteries, office accessories, kitchen and dining, pretty much anything you could think of.
Yeah, it's just it's essentially like when you go to Sam's Club or you go to Walmart, they've got great value. So like these different stores have what are called private labels. They are essentially products that in a lot of cases mimic or are made to the specs of name brand products, but they ultimately cost a lot less because these companies don't have the distribution. They've already got the distribution systems in place, and they don't have to spend money to advertise their own products because they're right there on their own website.
And it's like it always comes up at the top of the results.
Sure, yeah, and they're cheaper. And from what I can tell, the batteries seem like they're just as good as Duracell.
So she continues, it's not just Amazon she's talking about here. She also said that Google's various businesses would need to be so they can't create a bunch of subsidiaries or shell companies.
Would need to what?
Would need to be separated, including its ad exchange and its search engine. Warren also said that she would be looking to federal...
I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish.
It's... she hasn't thought about it that
far. She doesn't know what she's talking about,
this
probably.
Is like Green New Deal levels of speculation. Although it's obviously more feasible to implement than Green New Deal. Warren also said that she would be looking to federal regulators to undo some recent mergers, including Amazon's ownership of a grocer, Whole Foods, and e-commerce website.
She wants to undo that. She wants to force Amazon to sell Whole Foods.
Yeah, man, this is getting pretty
it's central planning is what this is. She believes she knows what's best. She believes her version of the marketplace is the one that would work the best, which is, total hubris on her part.
Oh, I was going to say, it's like in Atlas Shrugged when the government just takes control of all the businesses and starts making business decisions and everything.
Mm-hmm. And making poor business decisions. If you want to see what this is like, look down in Venezuela, because the government there has taken over hundreds of businesses over the last 2 decades and run them into the ground. At least that's the report. Those are the claims. Now, of course, we never really know what is and isn't true over there.
Or propaganda, yeah. Facebook's ownership of WhatsApp and Instagram, and Google's ownership of the navigation app Waze and home device company Nest.
Break them up. Break them all up.
Unwinding these mergers will promote healthy competition in the market, which will put pressure on big tech companies to be more responsive to their user concerns, including about privacy, she wrote. Facebook,
right, because remember, you always want to look to the government for expertise on privacy.
Exactly. Facebook and Amazon declined to comment on Warren's plan. Google did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Luther Lowe...
Because what are they going to say? I mean, laughing at her wouldn't probably be an appropriate response.
Well, they're probably like madly dialing the phone of all their lobbyists, telling them to do something. Lou Furlow, Senior Vice President of Government Relations at Yelp, which has repeatedly claimed that Google uses its search engine to scuttle competitors, said Warren's plan was, quote, refreshing and ambitious.
So you got competition likes
direct competition.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Over in the UK, Facebook has been labeled as digital gangsters by government people there. You got comments? You can share them here. It's Free Talk Live.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help, so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,293. Silver opened the day at $15.10. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,888. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safer way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Chelsea Manning has been taken into custody after refusing to testify against Julian Assange to a secret grand jury. She will be held until she changes her mind or until the grand jury term is over, which could be up to 18 months. News2share.com reports that ahead of the hearing, Manning was asked what she thinks of the hearings being conducted in secret with no press or the public allowed in.
Doing this in secret, it's very contrary to, the public interest, in my opinion. So I've been very opposed to the whole idea of grand juries in general.
On Tuesday, Manning had first of 3 hearings pertaining to the subpoena. She filed a motion to quash the subpoena, which was denied, and a second to allow the press into the hearing, which was deferred. Outside, a coalition of anti-fascist and anti-racist activists expressed their support for Manning and their disdain for the grand jury process. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Your news now continues. Newly revealed plans for expanding the Guantanamo Bay prison confirm that the future of the facility focuses on keeping detainees there well into old age and likely for the rest of their lives. Activist Post reports that a decade after President Barack Obama signed an executive order calling for Guantanamo Bay to be shuttered, prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000 square foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped-accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Minpress News reports that, in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Procter & Gamble introduced a beginner series of its Bounty paper towel brand this week, specifically designed to assist novices in acclimating to the household cleaning product. The new entry-level paper towels will reportedly feature bold labels and guide markers clearly printed on the surface of each sheet, as well as a step-by-step instructional DVD in each package.
Make sure that your paper towel is directly on top of the stain and not beside the stain. Otherwise, you won't absorb any liquid. Place your paper towel directly on the stain and make a gentle wiping motion.
In this week's local news, an area man knows that deep down, he's not done vomiting. In other news, Los Angeles residents are plagued by a roving pack of feral celebrities living in the Hollywood Hills. God wonders what happens to humans after they die, and a local dad clarifies that this is not a food stop. I was told early on that I would never be able to procreate, but I imagine the cold, dejected sensation I experience at the end of this news summary is similar to what a father feels when holding a child of his own flesh and blood.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program, and you can dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight is Ian.
It's Vincent.
We're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Just connect to one of those. You'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. We're going to the phones, and then coming up, since you brought up this breakup of Facebook, Google, and Amazon being proposed by Elizabeth Warren, taking the side of Nazis like Chris Cantwell, it's kind of an interesting combo there.
Well, and Alex Jones. I would say Jones has been one of the most vocal proponents of
government regulation of social media and such.
Specifically saying use antitrust.
So we can talk further on that, because it's not just the U.S. government that's targeting Facebook. There's a story out of The Guardian about the U.K. government calling them digital gangsters, which is an interesting accusation coming from the government. who are, of course, real-life gangsters. And but let's go first to your calls and thoughts. Stuart is starting things out here tonight, listening online. Go ahead, Stuart, in Arizona.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Oh, I just wanted to relay some information I got from listening to thousands of hours of liberty-oriented podcasts.
All right.
And my three main teachers were Free Talk Live, Ernest Hancock, and Mark Passio. And when you listen to enough of those, you get to a point where you kind of figure out what your rights are and how that leads to freedom.
Okay.
And I came to the realization that I don't have the natural right to pay income tax because that's used to force other people to pay involuntarily their money.
Well, I mean, income tax, the way you worded that is confusing to me. I mean, the natural right to pay income tax, I mean, there is no natural right to pay income tax. That's not the idea of a right. I mean, a right in the discussion that we're having, as I understand it, is essentially what you can't be forced to do, right? Like the things that you have inherently that no one else can infringe upon. I mean, if you want to pay income tax, I mean, you certainly have a right to pay anybody anything you want. If you have a thing, you can give that thing to somebody else or a group of somebody's. But I don't know, it's strange wording.
I don't believe you have a right to pay into a protection racket that goes around harassing other people.
Well, I mean, you have a right to do with the things that you have, right? Like if you have things, if you believe in property and you believe that, you know, you have property and other people also believe in property, you can give your property to whoever you want to, even if it's a criminal gang.
Absolutely.
If you want to choose to give your property to a criminal gang, maybe you want them to protect you or do you some kind of a favor or whatever, you absolutely have a right to give money to a criminal gang if that's what you want to do.
I believe you have a duty to understand the effects of your actions on other humans.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely are a bad person if what you're doing is giving money to a criminal gang, but you have the right to do it. You have the right to be a bad person, and that's, you know, that's usually essentially where a lot of libertarianism, I think, falls down, or where the non-aggression principle falls flat, is ultimately it's not enough. The non-aggression principle, which is sort of the libertarian base principle, the idea that you shouldn't use aggressive force against peaceful people in order to get your way, is just sort of like a playground basic that most of us learned in preschool. But unfortunately, you know, it's just not good enough. It doesn't say that you should also be good to people. It just says you shouldn't aggress against them.
Correct, and that's, I mean, this is they gave us the wrong lesson as children. Right action that covers your rights. Wrong actions are not your rights, and that's the simplest way of explaining what rights are.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree, because again, I think you have a right to be and do wrong things.
Well, and you know, with the talk of rights, I think it's much more simple to, and I forget who said it, but it was some libertarian philosopher or thinker who said that it should be, you know, when you talk about positive rights, right? You know, people think right of, you know, right to happiness, right to healthcare, but really the most constructive way to think about it is negative rights, which is where the non-aggression principle comes in, right? You don't have a right to, you know, healthcare. You don't have a right to life because, you know, there's no one except yourself to uphold that. Compared to negative rights, there's only one negative right. You can't use force against someone else, right? That's the only it's difficult to explain. Especially
positive and negative rights are such a confusing sounding
I think negative,
concept.
you know, I think it's more simple just to have a negative right? You know, you can't hurt anyone else, right? That's the right. I keep saying right afterwards, so it's probably confusing.
Well, I mean, that you're putting it in a way. Again, it's I don't know what the best way to explain it is, but the idea, as I understand it, behind a negative right is a negative right doesn't require somebody else to do something. Meaning, you have the right. If you have the right to bear arms, that just means other people can't stop you from having the things that you want. In this case, arms. Whereas
they can. I mean, I was convicted of a felony in my young age, and they took away that right.
Oh, well, now you're talking about the difference between rights and reality. Right. No. Now you're talking about the difference between the concept of rights and the reality of the implementation of rights. And the reality is you don't really have the rights that they say that you have because they're not respected. If other people,
because that's not where the rights come from. Rights come from nature, from nature's God, from the creating God.
Sure. I mean, you can say that if that's what you want, but of course, atheists also believe in rights, a lot of them, and they don't have to necessarily believe they come from God, because ultimately they come from people. They came from people who wrote down some good ideas. Rights are a good idea, and they said, "Hey, this would help if we all agreed to these good ideas." And most people,
That's
thankfully,
what I'm getting at. I think that lesson is incorrect and has caused most of the societal problems that we see now.
Which lesson is incorrect?
That rights are granted by your society or by other people.
Okay, so that's not what I was saying, but you're right. That is certainly a misconception of rights. The idea that a government could grant you a right is false, because if rights come from individuals, then government people don't have any extra rights to hand out.
Well, and even
more than you.
And even like the earliest documents of a government or the former republic's founding, it even said that, right? According to the federal government, rights don't come from the government. It comes, I guess in their wording, they said it comes from God. But they're taught. I mean, you say they're teaching the wrong thing. Well, to them, right, to the government, no, they're teaching the right thing, right? They want people to think that rights come from the government.
Of course they do.
Yeah, but it's incorrect.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely incorrect. But it's not to say that it's incorrect that rights come from the people generally, as far as not that they're granted, but that they're recognized, that an individual who believes in rights will reciprocate that towards others and sort of view those other people as having rights. Whereas that's not a granting of rights, because, again, if everybody has rights, you don't have rights to give because everybody already has them. But the idea came from people. Now, you can say that it came from God, but it was people who wrote it down. It was people who talked about it. And, of course, my view, of course, is the pantheist view, and that everything is God. And so, therefore, anything that comes from people is also coming from God. So ultimately, rights are a good idea. But as long as people disobey that idea, as long as they don't respect that idea consistently, rights don't exist. Because, like you said, if the government can just take your rights from you, then you don't really have rights, do you?
Well, I still do have rights. I just have a different level of danger to worry about.
I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean?
Rights can't be removed.
Well, I mean, they can be removed because what are you going to do about it?
I mean, the same thing I did about my right to smoke pot for the first, 20 adult years of my life in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm. You did it anyway, is what you're saying.
Yeah, just nullify.
Sure, but if you're in the presence of a police officer in Salt Lake City and you strike up a joint, what's going to happen?
Oh, then you're talking about a different. You're talking about a level of danger.
Yeah, you're talking about a man who will not respect your right to inhale what you want into your lungs, and that man will possibly kill you, or woman, or whoever it is. That uniformed officer will possibly kill you if you continue to resist their efforts to take away the joint from your mouth.
Absolutely, well, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe roll it around in your mind and think about the topic. Possibly right.
Stuart, good call, man. Good call. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I'm not against rights. I'm in favor of that idea. I'm just saying there are enough people who aren't, unfortunately, and they're in the government, and they're willing to use violence to make sure you don't believe that you actually have rights. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at anypay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. That's anypay.global.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE, and Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. It can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet. Buy some Bitcoin. Remember, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. They are divisible down to 8 decimal points. You know, the US dollar, only divisible down to 2 decimal points. 8 of them with Bitcoin. So you can get a fraction. You want to buy $20 worth of Bitcoin, it's no problem. You can do that.
Want to buy one Satoshi worth of Bitcoin?
That's a little harder. That's hard to do because a Satoshi is such a small. You're talking about the smallest fraction of a Bitcoin. It's a pretty small amount of money.
That's possible. I bought was a turtle coin. That was like 2 Satoshis per coin, and I bought several 100,000 of those.
Per coin? What do you mean?
Turtle coin. It was like 2 Satoshis per coin.
Meaning that one turtle only had 2 Satoshis making it up?
It was only worth 2 Satoshis in
conversion. Oh, one turtle
was
worth 2 Bitcoin Satoshis, yes. Is what you're saying? Okay. Because the term Satoshi can also be used generally to refer to the smallest fraction of any cryptocurrency.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
So the smallest fraction of a turtle would be called a Satoshi as well, generally. But anyway, we can talk about whatever you want here. Go to Bitcoin.com. You can get the latest news headlines there. You can engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. They even have a Bitcoin Academy where you can learn the basics about cryptocurrency. It's definitely not too late to get involved. Go to Bitcoin.com as we go to the phones with your calls and thoughts. Gene is the Christian anarchist. He's on the line on our Discord server. Go ahead, Gene.
Good evening. I wanted to talk about something
that people kind of get confused about, and that is the word truth.
Sure.
And this comes into play whether we're talking about religion, whether we're talking about politics, whether we're talking about rights. There's a movie called Cloud Atlas, one of my favorite. And Sanmi 451 has words of wisdom, and she says, "Truth is singular. Its versions are mistruths." So when we're discussing things that we don't know for sure, which is the attitude I take with religion, because, I don't know for sure if my view of religion is right. There is only one truth.
Doesn't that make you an agnostic instead of a Christian?
No.
No.
Because Christianity is what I believe in.
But you're not sure it's right. So you believe in it, but you're not sure it's right.
Or I'm not 100% sure it's the truth.
I see.
Correct. So truth, we can argue about details all day long, but there is only one truth. There either is a God or there isn't a God. One is true, one is not true. We don't really know which one of those is true. We can discuss it, but in the end, there's no way to prove or disprove. Now, there are things...
Unless you meet God, in which case then you would know.
Yeah. I think he means in this level.
And supposedly, we're going to meet him when we pass, so I'm hoping that I'm right. I mean, if I'm wrong, it's no big deal, right? But anyway, this isn't really a discussion about religion, but more on facts, because there is only one truth on everything. The earth is either flat or it's round. Well, of course, I think it's pretty clear to most people it's round. But
yeah.
So this idea when we talk to people that, well, that's your truth and this is my truth, that's really a mistaken position to take. Everybody should realize that maybe their truth isn't what they think to be truth isn't truth. So there are certain rock solid things we can prove, but when it comes to things like rights, for instance, do rights exist? Do they not exist? Well, they probably exist, but we can't really prove that they exist.
Well, they certainly don't exist in physical space, so they only exist as an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how else they
Ian,
could exist.
Don't you say if a state doesn't exist because it's an idea, so then wouldn't that same thing apply
that's
to
right.
rights? Wouldn't that apply to rights?
Rights don't exist.
And you
they
can
only
take
exist
a
in people's
position.
minds, just like the state only exists in people's minds.
Okay.
Now, whether or not that a belief in rights manifests into actual application of the idea, which is to say respecting other people's rights, is a whole other question. And whether or not the belief in the state is manifested into an actual, physical reality by virtue of men with guns, with transport trucks, with buildings willing to use violence on others. So I mean, these ideas can manifest into reality in some very positive and negative ways.
And when we're having discussion, we should try and demonstrate truth, like the discussion regarding whether government is real. We can demonstrate that government is a fiction, a legal fiction. It's even in their wording. So we can demonstrate that to other people, and we can come to the conclusion that that is the truth. There is no other version of truth. That one is the truth. Now, we have to convince people this through demonstrating the facts behind it, just like I try to demonstrate to people that there is no global warming by actually running the numbers on how much CO2 it would take if you burned up all the fossil fuels. That's an argument that I'm trying to point out the truth, which I believe the truth is we're not affecting the planet's climate, and that is my proof behind that. There is only one truth. Either I'm right or I'm wrong, but I demonstrate what I believe to be the truth through the facts that I can present. So I guess what I'm trying to say on this whole discussion is that there are no versions of truth. There is only one truth, but we may not know what that truth is. So we need to kind of keep an open mind when we're discussing with people exactly what the argument we want to make. So I want to make the argument that there's a God. So I will present what I feel is, to me, evidence that there's a God. Now, they can believe it or disbelieve it, but when I present that argument to them, I realize that there is only one truth. Either there is a God or there isn't. And
Right.
I don't have ultimate proof of that.
Saying something that you believe is, an honest thing to do. And once people start trotting out claims about that they have the truth, I immediately become skeptical. Because go ahead.
That's kind of a red flag if somebody says, I have the truth, and I've seen this in my entire life. People say they have the truth about the end of the world. I've heard this thing for at least 3 or 4 different drop dead dates during my lifetime when people said, well, this is it, Christ's coming back, and I see it, and then it goes by and everybody just kind of, it all just kind of gets shuffled under the carpet and nobody hears it again. But the point is they were wrong. That wasn't the truth. And so we need to realize that just because somebody says it, even if 99% of the people on the planet say it, it doesn't make it true. Don't forget, 99% of the people used to think the earth was flat. Now it's down to only 1%. So,
is it? Oh, thank goodness. They're certainly loud for how small of a number of people they are. Gene, good call. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. That's Gene, the Christian anarchist. You want to talk to him? He's hanging out in our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. And so Discord allows you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners around the clock, before, during, and after the show. The Discord server is there, and it's free. So just hop on in there. They'll drop you automatically into the On Air Now channel, but then there's those call-in lines, which is what he was on, one of those, and it sounds great. So it's not just voice chat. There's a voice chat aspect, and then there's text chat as well. Most of the people in the On Air Now text chat room during the show, so check that out. But there's also rooms for cryptocurrency and gaming and other things. Discord.lrn.fm. There's more Free Talk Live with your calls. Welcome. Next.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Did you know the official national American flag has never been manufactured for retail stores? The one that Americans fought and died for. The one symbol that represents our Constitution. Now you can be a part of this great movement that's never been seen before. Together, we'll recapture America. Call 1-877-383-4777 or visit theofficialflag.com. Theofficialflag.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And over the Discord server at discord.lrn.fm, Arterial Salad says, Cloud Atlas is a good movie. He's watched it twice. It's really good after some mushrooms. So I'll have to take that recommendation at some point. I've seen the movie, and it was like one of those movies where I wish I could have watched it a second time, but I was just too busy doing other things, and I just didn't make the time for it. So maybe I'll watch it again another time. Ian and Vincent here. Toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Coming up, Facebook accused of being digital gangsters by the real-life gangsters over in the UK. But also, we go to the phones and to your calls and thoughts. Tom is in New Hampshire, listening online. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, there's a difference between a right and a freedom. A freedom is when you're actually free to exercise that right, whether it is a natural, a negative right, such as the Fifth Amendment, or a positive right, such as the Sixth Amendment. Now, listen to these. Okay, the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. See, this is the right not to be held. Okay?
Right, so that's a negative right.
No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment, yada, yada. And nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. The Fifth Amendment.
But they will compel you to be a witness against somebody else. There was news today about Chelsea Manning being put back in a prison cell on a contempt of court charge because she's refusing to testify in the WikiLeaks case.
And filing for income tax is said to be self-incrimination also.
For sure.
Yeah, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Okay, so that's a negative right. And the Sixth Amendment is a positive right. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation.
Right. Now, of course, this is not an example of a natural right. You're just giving an example of a positive right. This is one created by man, which is basically a completely political concept.
And not only that, but it could not possibly be an inherent natural right because it speaks of a state and a district which has been ascertained by law. And to have the compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. And on that point there, that's in criminal prosecutions. Unfortunately, they left out deportation hearings. And that's why I called up Congresswoman Omar. She's standing up for the refugees and the immigrants. And I told her, she needs to file a bill to help correct that where they get a court-appointed lawyer and an interpreter if they don't know much English. And she should be focusing on putting money on that because if you put, as I think that her efforts to push Medicare for all is going to backfire, because when the taxes go up, you get a lot more idiots telling Congress to add more Border Patrol goons. You know, you get people who vote for candidates who support public school, which is a positive right, the right to an education, which she's supporting. And then when their school taxes go up, they tell Congress to add more Border Patrol goons instead of electing candidates who are against public schools. So
right. So what you're saying is they're increasing the size of the government to deal with increasing the size of the government. So you increase the government by creating all these so-called positive rights.
It's a Hegelian dialect, they call it.
Yeah. Well, so like problem, reaction, solution.
Exactly. Yeah. They create a problem. They offer the solution. They get what they want.
Tom, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. It's Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Vincent.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys something. Okay, all you guys want the state reps to work for free, right?
I don't want any state rep. Well,
I mean, you guys talk about how we still, all they get is per diems. We get no salary whatsoever, and you think that's so great. But why is it
no, I think it's terrible. I don't think they should get a per diem like that. That's ridiculous.
I think just travel costs. I think that's fair.
So that's what they get in New Hampshire is they get $100 a year plus they get a gas stipend. And what she's talking about is New Mexico, where they get about $160 a day. So, you know, if it's an 8-hour-long day, you're talking about $20 an hour, basically. They're getting paid way more than your typical New Mexican. And I find that insulting. If these people are your servants, they shouldn't be up there raking in a bunch of cash.
Wait a minute. It's still not a salary. Per diem is
I didn't say it was a salary. $160 a day. I know you've never had a job in your adult life, but for most people that are out there working at a job, these bureaucrats, these politicians are getting paid more than people working at most jobs.
In some places, it's like nearly $50,000 a year. Like in Alabama, it's $48,000 a year.
What's $50,000? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That New Mexico, they get no salary whatsoever. We're trying to pay them.
Pay them to
they
put
are
all the
being paid $164 a day. Now, really, the question is, how many days does the New Mexico state representatives do they meet? Is it like 3 months out of the year? Is it 6 months out of the year? Do you have any idea?
Well, this year is 2 months.
Okay.
But you know what? It takes them away from their school teachers. They almost get threatened to fire because if they get per diem, they have no money to pay their mortgage payment or car payment.
All right,
they should have chosen a better job than being a government goon, or not goon, but bureaucrat.
2 months of work at $20, basically, let's see, $164 a day. So let's call it 45 days because, you know, they're not going to be working on the weekends, right? So let's call it 45 days over 2 months. That's about $7,400, Sarah. That's more money than you make in a year.
Well, she doesn't make any. She's given money.
It goes to the hotel for the gas mileage. How are they going to pay mortgage payment and car payment and their bills with that? It goes
by getting a real job.
For traveling expense.
Yeah, so Vincent's right here. They need to be doing productive things in the economy. This is a part-time job being a state legislator in New Mexico, and that means that they get paid part-time wages. I think $164 a day is more than enough. In fact, it's way more than what they ought to be getting paid. They ought to get paid a lot less than that.
Especially the job they're doing.
Well, the thing about it, how come you guys want me to get a job that pays? When I say that I do volunteer work, I mean, I pass out political directory, you get mad at me about that.
No, but that's not volunteer work. You're being a shill, and I want you to get a real job because you're acting as a parasite. You're taking stolen money for other people, and it's not right. Do you think in a natural society, right, that didn't have this big government apparatus, you'd be able to survive without them?
So then you guys want the legislature to work for free? You're fine with
She didn't even answer your question. It was a good question.
But then you get mad at me because I work for free?
No, people get mad at you because you won't have a conversation with them. Because somebody actually says something that's intelligent and asks you a question, and you completely ignore it. You don't know how to have a conversation with people.
Well, what do you say that Okay, so that you think my volunteer work is worthless? Is that what you're saying?
If it was worth something, you'd get paid for it.
But you want the legislature to work for free. They get no pay.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's not a real job.
It was a civil service, right? So they, out of all the things you talk about in volunteering, they should be the ones volunteering. It should be a volunteer position.
But you know what? The thing is, we are the only last state. Believe it or not, New Hampshire actually gets paid something. I was told that we're the very last one with all
$100 a year.
Well, if they don't like it, they should secede and join Mexico.
Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I don't know if Mexico wants them.
I was going to say, if you're listening, please, you could have Albuquerque. It's fine.
Like hardworking Mexicans don't want to have a bunch of lazy Americans coming in there. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Mexico would build a wall.
Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico-Chops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free to bring up whatever you want. If you want to take control of the airwaves, you can do that. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live brought to you by Liberty.menu. It's exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If you qualify to those statements, you really ought to be over on Liberty.menu. If you do a thing, whether it's creating content, like you do, Vincent, you host your own radio show. Actually, a couple of them now.
Yeah. Yep.
One of them's Questioning Authority on Saturday nights here on LRN.FM on our internet streams. And so you could put that up on Liberty.menu. You can also put your business up there. You can also put your event up there that you might be organizing. If you are a liberty-minded person, you're going to love Liberty.menu. It's a super easy-to-use website, and you can do it for free at Liberty.menu. Use code FTL. You'll get a special Free Talk Live listener badge on your profile there. That's Liberty.menu. The story here about Facebook, this one's actually been in my show prep for a couple of weeks, and it was just never like, I didn't want to lead the show with it, but since you talked about the government in the U.S. through Elizabeth Warren talking about targeting Facebook, I thought this was a relevant follow-up here. And again, I say all this as somebody who is quit from Facebook. I spent a decade of my life on Facebook, and I finally quit at the beginning of last year. So I've been gone for more than a year, and it's been great. I highly recommend it. If you've been thinking about getting off of Facebook, I recommend you take the steps necessary to do it. And it is probably something you'll have to wean yourself off of. That's one of the things that I had to do.
Oh, yeah, social media addiction is like a real thing. You have doctors and psychologists talking about it.
But that's not what they're being accused of in this story from The Guardian by people in the government of the UK. They're calling Facebook digital gangsters. Here's the story. Facebook deliberately broke privacy and competition law, and they say should be urgently subjected to statutory regulation, according to a devastating parliamentary report denouncing the company and its executives as, quote, digital gangsters. The final report of the Digital Culture, Media, and Sports Select Committee's 18-month investigation into disinformation and fake news accused Facebook of purposefully obstructing its inquiry and failing to tackle attempts by Russia to manipulate elections. Quote, democracy is at risk from the malicious and relentless targeting of citizens with disinformation and personalized dark adverts from unidentifiable sources delivered through the major social media platforms we use every day. Did you know, Vincent, that the UK government is apparently also concerned about Russians buying ads on Facebook?
Oh, I don't doubt it. I mean, it fits into this whole, I guess, like Western liberal boogeyman that they need Russia to be. Here I was thinking that it would actually be something that would protect people they were talking about, like, data mining or manipulative practices. But no, of course, it has to fit in with whatever their own agenda is.
The report accuses Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook co-founder and CEO, of contempt for Parliament in refusing 3 separate demands for him to give evidence, instead sending junior employees unable to answer the committee's questions.
Well, and contempt of Parliament, what could that do to an American, right?
I don't think it could do anything. They're just mad.
I wonder if they'll try and block Facebook like they're blocking access to pornography there.
That's a good question. That is a news story that we covered in recent weeks on Free Talk Live, that now in the UK, if you want porn, you have to buy a special access card, as I understand it, in order to get it.
Which is pretty much just creating a database for people. But that's really the only thing they could do.
And they can add Facebook or other websites to that block list.
Because it seems that's really the only thing they could do to them that I would have any effect.
If there's Facebook offices in the UK, they could target them that way, in which case Facebook could just shut down their UK offices and be like, well, we're just going to leave. We'll just take all of our jobs with us.
Well, or I was going to say it would probably be a positive for the British people if they don't allow, or like if Facebook stops working for the UK, is blocked. That'd probably be, in my opinion, a positive thing for people.
The report also warns British electoral laws unfit for purpose and vulnerable to interference by hostile foreign actors, including agents of the Russian government attempting to discredit democracy. Calls on the British government to establish an independent investigation into, quote, foreign influence, disinformation, funding, voter manipulation, and the sharing of data, unquote, in the 2014 Scottish independence referendum and 2016 EU referendum and the 2017 general election. By the way, when is the Brexit going to happen?
Yeah.
Is it going to be like in the next decade? Do we have another 10 years to wait for this to actually go down?
No, I think it's just been ruined by the British deep state so much that people are going to lose their taste for it, and it's just going to be business as usual, except with a few probably punishments or something on the British people for biting the hand that feeds, that is the EU.
So here's what they want. Labour moved quickly to endorse the committee's findings, with the party's deputy leader Tom Watson announcing, Labour agrees with the committee's ultimate conclusion: the era of self-regulation for tech companies must end immediately. He said further, quote, we need new independent regulation with a tough powers and sanctions regime to curb the worst excesses of surveillance capitalism. Now, that's a new term. I have not heard. Surveillance capitalism is totally fine when the British government installs thousands of CCTV cameras around London and elsewhere and then monitors your every move. But when those dirty capitalists do it, then it's a problem.
And for those unaware, it's like in the UK, there's like three main parties. There's, I guess you have like analogous to Republicans here in the US. There's Party Conservative, and there's the Liberals, and then like DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, that's Labor. So like if the US had a three-party system like the UK or Canada, AOC and those people and Elizabeth Warren would probably be part of American
the Labor Party.
Yeah, if there was an American one.
The Culture Secretary, Jeremy Wright, who is to meet Zuckerberg to discuss harms resulting from social media, will likely come under pressure to raise the committee's concerns with the Facebook executive chief directly. Launched in 2017, as concern grew about the influence of false information and its ability to spread unscrutinized on social media, the inquiry was turbocharged the following year with the Cambridge Analytica data harvesting scandal. The Observer revealed the company had secretly acquired data that was harvested from millions of Facebook users' profiles and was selling those insights to political clients to allow them to more effectively manipulate political or potential voters. The company has since collapsed into administration. I'm not sure what that means.
Once he noticed, the outrage isn't because we're data mining all these people. No, the outrage is we're selling that data to people that they don't like.
Right. Because the government loves data. They want to get all the data. It's just when their political enemies have it, they get upset. The committee argues that Facebook, had they abided by the terms of an agreement struck with U.S. regulators in 2011 to limit developers' access to data, the scandal would not have occurred. The 108-page report makes excoriating reading for the social media giant, which is accused of continuing to prioritize shareholders' profits over users' privacy rights. Quote, Facebook continues to choose profit over data security, taking risks in order to prioritize their aim of making money from user data. Hey, I got news for you. That's why they exist. That's the whole point of Facebook, is to make money off of the information you choose to give them. So this whole fight over privacy on Facebook, if you cared about privacy, you wouldn't be on Facebook.
Well, I'll say that's where the utility argument comes in. Is because a lot of people grew up not thinking of Facebook as a company. They would think of it as a social media platform or network, where they don't think of it say, okay, this is a company that lets me share these pictures of me in exchange for my data or whatever.
Right.
They say, oh, this is like a place that just everyone's on it. You have to get on it, right?
Sure. Nobody reads the terms of service, but I guarantee you will find in those terms of service something to the effect of whatever it is you upload becomes ours. We can use it however it is we want. If we want to make a slideshow to, pitch our new Facebook feature to some company for investment, and it's got your smiling face guzzling back a bottle of vodka on it at some party, then they can do that. If they think they can make money off of it, they can probably print it up and put it in an art gallery if they thought they could make money off of it. That's not to say that you don't still have rights to that picture, but Facebook has the right likely to not exclusively, but to distribute your photos without your knowledge because you gave it to them. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to your calls here. We got Steve on the line in Concord, New Hampshire. I presume Concord, New Hampshire. Listening online. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, so I'm a new mover, and It was recommended to me recently at the New Movers Party at the Quill that I go to Keene as soon as possible, and I meet you. Can you tell me what's going on in Keene?
That's a strange thing that happened. Why would they recommend that you move to Keene? Most people in a lot of places
meet Keene, not move to Keene. Meet you.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on a second here, Steve. We'll bring it back here. What's going on in Keene? Well, it's Keene great right now in Keene. The new restaurant just opened up after international headlines, controversy.
That's Ian's way of saying there's no activism going on.
There's actually quite a bit of activism going on here, as there always is. But we'll talk about the migration to New Hampshire in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Many people believe they don't control their own destiny because they haven't chosen to take the first step towards the life they've always dreamed of. Let them continue just getting by while you make the choice to do something about your future. Imagine working from home, earning the income you deserve. Start small or dream big. Work part-time or full-time. You choose the pace. Just visit startlivingyoung.com. That's startlivingyoung.com. And click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Discover Juness, a state-of-the-art global health products company that spent 5 years on the Inc. 5,000 fastest-growing private companies in America list. With over $1 billion a year in sales, they'll provide all the tools you need to thrive and succeed. And you'll be blown away by how little it takes to get started. Visit startlivingyoung.com today and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab at the top of the page. 2019 will be the year your new life begins. Your destiny awaits at startlivingyoung.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,293. Silver opened the day at $15.10. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,888. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with ManageCloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, Chelsea Manning has been taken into custody after refusing to testify against Julian Assange to a secret grand jury. She will be held until she changes her mind or until the grand jury term is over, which could be up to 18 months. News2Share.com reports that ahead of the hearing, Manning was asked what she thinks of the hearings being conducted in secret with no press or the public allowed in.
Doing this in secret, it's very contrary to, the public interest, in my opinion. So I've been very opposed to the whole idea of grand juries in general.
On Tuesday, Manning had her first of 3 hearings pertaining to the subpoena. She filed a motion to quash the subpoena, which was denied, and a second to allow the press into the hearing, which was deferred. Outside, a coalition of anti-fascist and anti-racist activists expressed their support for Manning and their disdain for the grand jury process. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Your news now continues. Newly revealed plans for expanding the Guantanamo Bay prison confirm that the future of the facility focuses on keeping detainees there well into old age and likely for the rest of their lives. Activist Post reports that a decade after President Barack Obama signed an executive order calling for Guantanamo Bay to be shuttered, prison officials are seeking contractors to build a wheelchair-accessible 5,000-square-foot compound at the detention center. That's according to reports by the Middle East Eye and the Miami Herald. Human rights advocates on Thursday decried the move. The new wing will contain 3 handicapped-accessible cells, suggesting that the prison is planning to provide end-of-life care to detainees, many of whom have not been formally charged with any crime or been afforded a trial. Lieutenant Jason Tross, a Guantanamo Bay official, told the Middle East Eye that the new handicapped-accessible cells are indeed planned because the prison is, quote, facing an aging detainee population, end quote. On Monday, the Pentagon announced it would be paying $946 million to Lockheed Martin toward the installation of a missile defense system that was purchased not by the United States government, but by Saudi Arabia. Mint-Press News reports that, in other words, that means the Pentagon is paying nearly $1 billion to subsidize a purchase made by a foreign power. In the announcement, the Pentagon referred to the payment as an unidentified contract action that would be used in part to prepare Saudi Arabia's current missile defense system for the installation of the $15 billion Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense System manufactured by Lockheed. The Pentagon said the payment was intended to prevent major delays in the delivery and production of the system, suggesting it was likely a hedge against past Saudi interest. The payment is also authorized for use by Lockheed to pay for materials, tools, and engineering development. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, March 8th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The nation's quadriplegics immobilized on Washington in support of stem cell research, and a Penn State t-shirt is awkwardly looked away from. And now for the weekly feature your fragile, susceptible mind already has your lips salivating for. This is The Onion Week in Review. Sources reported today that 10-year-old Brandon Thomas, who is currently homesick at his friend Kevin's sleepover, needs to just tough it the fuck out.
I don't feel like playing Xbox right now.
The pathetic little bitch, who claims he just doesn't feel like eating any birthday cake or joining in any activities with his friends, frankly needs to grow a pair because his parents only live 10 minutes away, for Christ's sake. Here's what the whiny pansy had to say for himself.
I wasn't crying. It's just allergies. I want to go home.
What a f***ing wuss. In other news, a voicemail from mom is deleted 3 words in, and a man with nice eyes is blown. All right, now off with you. I can't have you seeing me like this. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
So we had a call on the line, the very last part of the second hour. Unfortunately, the person dropped off, who said that he was at a new movers party. And so I'm going to do my best to address his call, even though we didn't really get to talk to him for very long. He was at a new movers party, which is something that happens on a monthly basis in Manchester, New Hampshire. And the idea is it's intended to welcome people who are new to New Hampshire, who are libertarians, who've made the migration here, made the move as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration. Some of them are Free State Project participants as well, over at freestateproject.org, of course, but not all of them. But anybody who moves to New Hampshire who loves freedom is welcome to go to one of these parties and meet some of the people in the community. Basically, that's the point. Just welcome to welcome to New Hampshire. Tell us about yourself. Meet people. That's basically the idea. It's a mixer event. And so this guy called to say that when he was at this event, people told him that he ought to either move to Keene or go to Keene.
I don't think move was ever said. Just from what I remember him saying, I think it was just go to Keene and meet you.
I think it is move to Keene because I received a message from Jackie the other day out of the blue. And she says, you'll probably be hearing from a guy named Mo. Now, the person on the phone was not named Mo, but maybe, he changed his name for radio purposes. I don't know. Says that we just met at the new movers party. He belongs in Keene, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. He really, really, really belongs in Keene, so please facilitate his settling there. K, thanks, bye. He showed up wearing a top hat and a black-yellow anarchy flag as a cape, announced that he was a professional graphic designer who accepts crypto and payment, and said the final impetus for leaving Virginia for New Hampshire was he kept getting in fights with the D.C. area cops. She says further in his introduction, he specifically requested information and recommendations for specific municipalities to move to, and we were all, you belong in Keene, LOL,
Very
she
well
says. So maybe that's the same person who called in. Honestly, I don't know. But it's interesting because, normally the reaction that people get when they go to one of these new mover parties and say they're living in Keene is some people are cold to them. Some people treat them very rudely. And there's a certain, we don't want your kind around here mentality, apparently, from these people.
You guys rock the boat. You make the rest of us look bad.
Yeah, well, there are people who say that. And what they're referring to is some of the direct action, kind of the in-the-streets activism that has gone on here in Keene that has resulted in, over the years, a tremendous amount of media coverage being generated from the activism that happens here in Keene. A recent example of the way that Keene stories can blow up in mainstream media is the Keene Great story that I was talking about earlier tonight. Now, that's not a Free Stater who runs that restaurant, but the libertarians and liberty-minded folks in this area are intimately tied with that. Chris Reitman, of course, who's our Thursday night co-host, he is the official distributor at his gift shop of the Keene Great T-shirts and the stickers and the things like that they've got. And of course, a lot of us have been customers of hers because she took Bitcoin and cryptocurrency when she was running her food truck, her Vietnamese food truck. So we're tied in close. I reported on that story at freekeene.com, and I helped it go national by doing that. I was one of the initial people who actually broke that story. So, we can make news happen here in a way that they just haven't done in other parts of the state. So I think to some extent it's a bit of a jealous.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I can't name you a single person. I know there are people saying it, but I can't name anyone who disparages Keene in that way because they're irrelevant, right? I mean, if someone is hostile to actually direct action or i.e. doing something other than hanging out in bars or basements, smoking weed and drinking and arguing with people on Facebook. They're just, they're irrelevant, and I guess we're just as you said, it goes to jealousy.
And, some people can have a disagreement with activism techniques, but okay, fine, just don't do that activism.
Yeah, what sort of activism is going on in any other part of his state?
There's stuff going on, you just don't hear about it.
Well, exactly. Don't hear about it I'm just going to say a lot of you don't hear about it nearly as often as Keene, and I think a lot of the stuff in Keene's fizzled out recently.
Sure, Robin Hooding doesn't happen anymore, but that also had kind of a on and off, I guess existence during the time that it existed. It some people would kind of pick up the ball and run with it, and then they'd drop the ball and give it to somebody else, and they'd run with it. That's just sort of the nature of things, as they come in cycles as far as activism is concerned.
Well, and the only
there's plenty of activism here in Keene. It's just not it's not like the Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree days, in that it's not as civil disobedience oriented as it once was, and that's because the people run out of the amount of times they can get convicted for stuff. Civil disobedience is not a sustainable form of activism.
And I mean, the only activism I could think of that I hear coming out of Concord, aside from via, like legislation, lobbying and such, is via 420 rally, which is organized by someone who's living in Keene and has lived in Keene for the past 10 years, or a better part of the last 10 years.
Off and on. You're talking about Rich Paul?
Yes.
Yeah. He's back now. He's back in Keene, actually living next door here to the studio.
And he's currently organizing the next 420 I mean, it would make sense if someone living in Concord would, be able to more organize that, but not disparaging anyone.
Yeah, I mean, look, as far as moving to New Hampshire is concerned, I would never say that Keene is right for everybody. Keene is a small town in the southwest corner of New Hampshire, and if you're looking for a good job, this probably is not the place you're going to find it. It's the city, the county seat, so it's the largest populated area in this region, but this is a not highly populated region.
A lot of people even just consider it a part of Vermont at this point.
It is a bit more of a lefty tinge to it out here, but it does have a lot of history to it, and of course you can always go to watch Victimless Crime Spree if you want to get a little taste of what the history has been like over at victimlesscrimespree.com. But wherever you end up in New Hampshire, I'm sure you will find people that you like. If you're a liberty-minded person, there's usually enough libertarians here where you can actually choose who you want to hang out with. And that's a good thing. The fact that some people don't like what goes on in Keene is a good thing. It means that we've done enough here to differentiate ourselves and to make some people say, I would never want to live in Keene. Well, good. We probably don't want you living here either. So you can go to freekeene.com. There's 150 reasons to move to Keene there. If you want to check those out, feel free to go to move.freekeene.com. So there's all kinds of reasons to move out here, but if it's a career decision, you probably want to keep your mind open to everywhere in New Hampshire. If you're looking at moving to New Hampshire, but you need to have the best career opportunities, you probably should keep your mind open to anywhere that has what you're looking for, basically. So those are my thoughts for the caller who unfortunately dropped off the line. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Uplifting Truth on the lines. You're on Free Talk Live on our Discord server. Is it Uprising? Sorry, it's Uprising Truth, not Uplifting Truth. Uprising Truth. You got to unmute that mic. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
There you are. Go ahead with your thoughts.
First off, I had a couple ideas and thoughts that I want to throw past you guys. I actually wanted your opinion on abortion because I was talking to some of the people here in the chat, and I think most of us agree that, in my opinion, I'm not going to speak for everyone, that abortion is aggression on another person.
No, I don't think we all agree on that.
However, it is ultimately that person's choice, so it's kind of like a catch-22 in that sense of,
Are you saying
whenever someone wants to murder someone else, they have a choice? So I mean, I don't really I don't really get your point.
Are you calling it murder?
Oh, absolutely.
See, I disagree.
Well,
okay,
absolutely, I agree it is murder. But it's how do we, in a free society, promote pro-life values or values that you
I don't know. You promote it.
I think he means like in a society, like regarding rules or whatever. That's what.
Well, hang on. If you want uprising, it's hard to read it. Uprising Truth. We'll come back to that here if you want to discuss it. You're welcome to stick around. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And this is one of those things where libertarians disagree as far as whether or not it's murder, whether or not a fetus is an actual human being with full rights. It's Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us here. Our number is 855-450. Free, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. With you in studio, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
Vincent, you going to Fork Fest this year?
There's a good chance I am, pending a few deals sort of close through. But yeah, there's a decent chance I might go.
Yeah, I heard that you were talking about maybe doing a food vending thing.
Absolutely,
with my roommate.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it works out. It'd be great.
But you've never been before. You've never been to either Fork Fest or the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
Nope.
Well, up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, which is a very, very beautiful place to be, especially during the summertime, and this is actually going to be the week just before summer, June 13th through the 18th, there are a group of liberty-minded folks, voluntarists, libertarians, liberty-loving anarchists, people that gather together at Rogers Campground. And again, this is Fork Fest 2019. It's the third year of Fork Fest, which is a fork of a different festival, which is called the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And that one's been going on. I think it's coming up on its 15th year. And so Fork Fest happens the 5 days before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So if you want to stay up for a full 10-day long extravaganza in the forest in New Hampshire, you can do that. Now, there's a key difference between these two events, besides the fact that, one's been around much less time, is that Fork Fest does not have a central planner. Fork Fest does not have a set of organizers, a board of directors, or anything like that, and therefore there's no ticket price to get into Fork Fest. There's no security. There's the campground. You still have to get a campsite from the campground, but beyond that, and there are some motel rooms on there. So if you're not into doing the camping thing, there's also RV sites. If you've got an RV, you can bring that up there. But basically, it's self-organized. It is decentralized, meaning that if there's something that you want to see happen, you ought to create that, or have somebody else do it for you, pay them to do it, or something like that. So if you want to have a musical event, have a musical event. You want to have a poker game, have a poker game, and announce it. Let people know via the Fork Fest forums or the Fork Fest Telegram chat room, or preferably both of those places, or other places that maybe have yet to have been built by other people, because again, it's decentralized. So just because there's a Fork Fest forum doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't start their own Fork Fest forum, if you see what I'm talking about. Go check it out at forkfest.party and mark your calendar June 13th through the 18th. That's just over 3 months from now. It's forkfest.party to learn more. As we go back to Uprising Truth, on the line here with us, Jordan in New York, you wanted to talk about abortion specifically, and you sound like that you think that it is a murderous act, but you're not sure what should be done about it in a so-called free marketplace.
Correct.
Gotcha. So here's what I would suggest as a liberty-minded person. Whatever somebody's stance is about the act of abortion, it's really, honestly, shouldn't be anybody else's business. The government shouldn't be involved in prohibiting it, because then you've made a prohibition on something, and then you're just going to drive it into the black market and make it more dangerous and more expensive. So that's not a good thing. Create crime, basically, surrounding the act of abortion. And the government should also not be subsidizing abortions, meaning the government should not be giving money to people that are having abortions, or giving money to organizations that are performing abortions for people. So the government ought to stay out of it. As far as how you can convince people on this subject, there are a myriad of ways that people try to communicate on this matter. Some try to scare people out of it. Some show pictures of gory, fetuses and disgusting, nasty refuse and that sort of thing, and that this sort of scared straight method that might work for some people. Others may just simply try to persuade by sitting down and talking to a good friend. Others may wait until somebody gets knocked up and then have the conversation at that point. I mean, there's different approaches.
Also, what's done with some of the parts and the refuse and stuff, companies would buy the parts of these because there's certain cells and chemicals and stuff in dead fetal or just fetal tissue in general that they can't get anywhere else. So there's they would get money too, and they wouldn't tell the people getting the abortion. So in some cases, theoretically, I didn't look too much into this. I would just hear traces of the story. Someone could pay to get an abortion, and then the company that they pay to do the abortion keeps the parts, and then they get way more money from selling the dead baby parts than they ever had to spend actually giving the abortion itself. So it's a total racket.
Yeah, sort of in the same way that people have stopped using cigarettes because it's become unpopular. It's become uncool over time to do that. Abortion could be the same way. Also, technology can help as well. stop or dramatically lower the number of abortions, because eventually you're going to be able to take a fetus out of an unwanting mother and just put it into essentially a medical fetus, something that's not an actual human being, just basically to gestate the baby in a test tube, essentially. So
or just educate that there's plenty of couples who, there's a lot of government red tape regarding adoption, but there's plenty of people who'd want to adopt.
Sure, so roll back adoption red tape.
And give money too, right?
Yeah. So cut out the adoption regulations and make it easier for people to adopt. Just make it so the Catholic Church or whoever it is that's running the orphanage gets to set their own rules. And
no, but I think they're all government. There's no private orphanages anymore.
Really?
I understand. I think it's it used to be the church, and that had its problems. I think most there's no orphanages. I think it's all foster care, and that's
that's
even
terrible.
Yeah. Jeez.
I believe it's all government ran now.
So, did that answer your question at all, Corbin?
Yes, it actually did.
All right, cool.
And just to follow up, there was an article from the Center of Medical Progress about Planned Parenthood buying baby parts.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
They paid out a settlement for $7.8 million.
Thanks for the call tonight, Uprising Truth. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I called him Corbin. That was an accident. That's our next caller. Corbin is on the line in Rhode Island. Hello, Corbin. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So, me and my friends having a debate, right? And it's like a legit question. So, if a girl, say a girl hits you, for no reason why, right? For instance, would someone have the right to defend themselves like that?
You're talking about the sort of the societal prohibition on hitting a lady? Is that what you're asking about?
If they hit you first for no reason why.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if there's no reason or a reason. No one should be hitting another person. And so, of course, you have the right to defend yourself. It's just that a lot of people will look down on it.
Right.
Well, Ian, is it... sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can say what.
Well, in this case, say and I've seen it before. Say a girl. I'm not gonna say ladies because ladies wouldn't initiate violence against someone. If a girl or something hits you. I don't think it would be defensive violence to hit her back, right? That would just be revenge. I mean, unless she's nonstop coming at you. But if as some girls do, they get upset, they use physical violence.
Well, yeah, I mean, the appropriate thing to do generally is to stop an attack, right? Rather than to return an attack against an attacker, to retaliate, just to simply stop the attack, and then that's that. But you're right, Vincent. If she continues to push, then you absolutely have the right to, do something back.
Well, and I'd go as far as to say this whole "you can't hit a lady" thing that emboldens some women into initiating violence too, because they'd hit they'd initiate the violence,
and they know they can get away with it.
Yeah, and then someone defends himself, and they start crying and playing the victim.
Yeah. Thanks for the call tonight, Corbin. Appreciate the question. Toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Gangsters, digital gangsters, that's what Facebook's being called by UK real gangsters in government. It's Free Talk Live. We'll tell you more coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Tensions in Washington, D.C. reached a new high yesterday as several dozen members of Congress took a class of visiting school children hostage, barricaded themselves inside the Capitol Rotunda, and demanded $12 trillion in cash. The children were rounded up at gunpoint, whereupon the House Speaker informed negotiators that one child would die every hour unless their demands were met. Here now, a brief video one of the students was able to send out from inside the Capitol.
Nobody move, you're all gonna die! This kid's got a phone.
Historians across the country politely reminded Americans this week to quickly check and see what has happened in the past before making any big decisions.
Just take any book with history in it and then quickly skim through it to see what decisions in the past turned out to be bad. And then once you've pinpointed them, simply don't make those same decisions again. Because if a bad thing happened again, you see, that would be very bad indeed, wouldn't it?
This is the Onion News Network.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free to join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. Hop on over there and get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners. Discord.lrn.fm. By the way, thanks to T. Hammond, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a way for you to support what it is that we do here on Free Talk Live. If you like what we do, which is to say, talk about freedom, basically 7 nights a week on the radio on 190-plus radio stations, then please join the AMP program, because you can help us get to 200, 250, 300 radio stations. It is possible. More is possible. Just it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money, and so that's primarily where that $5 a month that you send in goes. You can see some of the places that we're spending that money over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com, as we continue. And yes, you can use Bitcoin. Yes, you can use PayPal and also credit card to do your AMP, and you'll get some cool perks. So head on over there, ampamp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Free Market Penguin, or Flea Market Penguin, as he's calling himself now, in Virginia. You got to unmute that microphone, Penguin, otherwise we can't put you on the air. There you go. Are you there?
All right, yo, guys.
All right.
I wanted to talk about a really dreadful story, or actually it was like a whole hour-long show I heard on NPR the other day. Really, really moving. And it really, it relates to free markets. So apparently there is a huge uptick in the cost of insulin in the United States, where now it went from like $30 to $50 a vial that lasts a week, or maybe two, up to like $300 or more a vial, to the point where there were people Yeah, there were people that literally it is cost less for some people to fly to Taiwan to stock up on insulin and fly back with it.
Jesus.
Or if there are people that have had to immigrate from the United States just because they have diabetes and cannot afford insulin here, because elsewhere, other parts of the world, it only costs, $20, $30, $40 a vial. And the fact is, here in the United States, for various reasons.
Yeah, what is the reason? Why do the costs go up so much?
Because the drug companies charge that much. And clearly, we know that diabetes is very widespread.
Well, that's not the reason. Hold on. That's when you ask why something went up in price, the answer is not because they charge that much. There must be a reason why.
It's possible that Ian, it's something people need, right? And I don't know of any alternative to it. There might be. So if a company, if companies have something that people absolutely need, right, they can put it at whatever price they want. That was the issue people had with Martin Shkreli and whatever medication his company was selling.
The pharma bro?
Well, only not in a free market. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, if there were a free market,
three companies that dominate the market.
Right. If there were a free market, then anyone could enter and compete, and that would drive prices down. But because these governments,
something called the FDA, that gets in the way of everything, and the government picks winners and losers in these markets.
So the three manufacturers, it's like three manufacturers, big companies like Sanofi and the other ones that are also, if you know, pharmaceuticals are pretty big name pharmaceutical companies. They're it's the only one I can remember right now.
Merck,
Merck, yeah.
Okay,
some other one. But yeah, they like control all the production, and so clearly there's a huge demand. It's not new technology. It's synthetic insulin has been around for decades, if not like 100 years. The way to make synthetic insulin with small tweaks along the way, and they protect it through IP. They protect their
intellectual property.
They protect it through IP, intellectual property.
Yeah.
And now we don't have a free market. So elsewhere in the world, you can pay $20 a vial. People are dying because, like, one kid died from his diabetes because he was rationing his last insulin bottle that he got from the funeral of somebody that died from diabetes themselves. That was his last vial. I mean, it's crazy, and there's no reason for it. It's just we have such captured, regulated markets that the companies can get away with charging, like Vince said, for that reason.
Well, just imagine how much better Facebook's going to be when they get to regulating Facebook.
Well, yeah. When you first brought up the story, I figured it was a supply issue just because of the amount of hideously obese and or chronically obese people there are in the United States are taking it up.
There are a lot of them.
Yes, but supply could still in a free market or any kind of halfway free market, be ramped up to meet demand. I mean, it would be a temporary problem.
Yeah.
Oh no, I understand.
This is an ongoing problem.
And I understand. I agree with you. It most likely is, like 90% the government's fault. I'm just saying.
Well, right, because remember, rising prices in a free market are just an indicator that somebody can make some money.
Yeah, and then you would have competition go up and knockoff brands, and I think that. But I want to say that the amount of chronically unhealthy people in the United States in regards to food habits doesn't play a small part in it.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Has a lot to do with it also. So.
Flea Market Penguin, any other comments? Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I just want to say that, I mean, it's clear evidence of a cartel because they were raising prices in lockstep. They're clearly colluding, and the congressman bringing them up before them, demanding answers. Well, the answer is you have a regulated captured market protected by IP. So yes, they're going to cartelize. They're going to collude with their prices and raise them in lockstep. And there's nothing anybody can do about it unless you have free markets.
But wait, that's illegal. It's illegal to raise your prices in lockstep with another company or another person. See, they're breaking the law, so now the government's going to go after them, right?
Jeez, I didn't even know that.
Oh, they're too big to go after.
Yeah, no, they're not going to go after them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call tonight.
They own the congressman.
Yep, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's illegal. If you and I were selling a thing in the marketplace and we decided that we wanted to make sure that we raised our prices together, if we're the only two sellers of that thing in the marketplace, then even if we weren't the only two, even if we're just 2 of 100 of them, if we're colluding, that's illegal.
Oh, you meant colluding. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like you just raising it as a natural. Okay, never mind.
No. If we come to an agreement, that's what a cartel does, right? The cartel are companies who've come together under an agreement to lock prices together, basically. in order to protect each other's profits. Now, of course, in theory, somebody could always break the cartel, but
well, then they get retribution from all the other members.
Yeah, they might. So, toll-free number if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. Back to the story here from The Guardian about the critique that the UK government MPs, the Ministers of Parliament, I think is what that stands for. Member of Parliament. Yeah. That they're targeting Facebook, saying it needs to be regulated. They want a new independent regulation, so a whole new bureaucracy to be formed to regulate Facebook.
This is great, Ian. They'll create more jobs.
No, this is not great. And I don't like Facebook, but I will stand up for their freedoms to do a bad business the way they want to do their bad business.
They deserve. You know what? A world's smallest violin, whatever happens to them, they deserve.
We need no, because you got to stand up for even the worst.
I'm not standing up for bad people,
of
Ian.
These companies. Nope. Because they could target you next. If they get away with targeting Facebook,
they already are targeting me.
Then who's going to be next? So it's important to stand up for people, even if you disagree with them.
I mean, Facebook's for buddy too. All these big tech companies are for buddies. So I mean,
it's hard
what
to feel
deserve,
sorry.
Right?
It is hard to feel sorry for them. I'll give you that. The culture secretary, who's going to be meeting Zuckerberg, says that he wants to discuss the harms that are resulting from social media. Let's see. The committee argues that had Facebook abided by the terms of an agreement struck with U.S. regulators in 2011, the Cambridge Analytica thing wouldn't have happened. Zuckerberg continues to choose profit over data security, taking risks in order to prioritize their aim of making money from user data. Continuing, they said that Mark Zuckerberg continually fails to show the levels of leadership and personal responsibility that should be expected from someone who sits at the top of one of the world's biggest companies, said Collins in a statement, as though these people have any idea how to run a company. These bureaucrats and politicians. This is the chairman of this committee, Damian Collins. This guy's a professional politician. He's a liar and a thief and a huckster for a living. And, I mean, you may not like Mark Zuckerberg, but at least he's a success, and he did it all, basically by creating a product that hadn't existed before.
No, he copied from the Winklevoss twins. He did a lot of bad things.
More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
Hello, I am looking for a special soul from the GCN audience to hire to come to East Ridge, Tennessee and take care of 2 peaceful, easygoing people, which are a sweet 95-year-old woman and her 60-year-old son. Terms would be free room and board, plus the use of all of our facilities here at home, in exchange for living with us and seeing to our needs. We must have someone that fits in well. We get along with most anybody and value those who like to do the same. We live in a suburb of the scenic city of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Please email Matt at peaceaboveall.net for additional information. Please include your informal resume stating your strengths and weaknesses and reasons you would make a dedicated caregiver. We would also offer to negotiate a nominal salary in addition to everything else. Again, please email matt@peaceaboveall.net. Thanks for responding.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We got enough time for you if you jump on the lines right now. Or you can wait 15 or so minutes, 20 minutes, and then we will be on Twitch only. We're going to do Freer Talk Live. It's the Free Talk Live after show. It happens only on our Twitch channel at twitch.lrn.fm. So if you're not yet following the Twitch channel, please do that, because not only will you get to watch Free Talk Live, but also your show, Vincent, Questioning Authority, which happens Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Free Talk Live. And there's also Call to Freedom, which happens weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern Time in the afternoon. And actually, now Ernie Hancock in the mornings is doing his show, but he's got his own Twitch channel. But we will syndicate it basically on the LRN channel. So if you're on twitch.lrn.fm, then you can watch a bunch of different shows that are on the Liberty Radio Network. And there's a chat room there on Twitch as well. And again, there's these occasional after shows that we're going to do. One of them tonight on twitch.lrn.fm. So head over there and hit the follow button. And further, if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber, and a lot of people are, one of the benefits that Amazon gives to you that you may not know about is you get a free Twitch subscription. One free Twitch subscription every month. So if you've got your Twitch account linked to your Amazon account, then it's super easy to just do that subscription for free and give it to LRN's channel. So please do that, and we'd appreciate it because it helps. It's just a couple bucks, basically, that Amazon will send us, Twitch will send us via Amazon, that otherwise Amazon's just going to keep. So if you want to send it to us, then please do over at twitch.lrn.fm. All right, so again, that's coming up here in a little bit. We're talking about the hatred towards Facebook. And I don't hate Facebook. Okay, and I don't know anything about Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know how honest or dishonest of a business person that he is. But whatever whatever your foibles are, whatever his foibles are, whatever your critiques are of him, the fact is his business, Facebook, was built voluntarily, meaning that the people who joined it joined on their own volition. The people who stayed and continued to use it, even after all the scandals and after all the controversy and after all the the news coming out that they're using addictive gambling techniques to get people to continue to use their service and to stay addicted to it. So there are a lot of valid critiques and concerns surrounding Facebook. I'll agree. But they did it all without ever pointing a gun at somebody, which is, of course, what the government does. And that's why it's particularly ironic for these government goons to be referring to Facebook as digital gangsters. So this is another statement here from this committee in the UK. Damian Collins is the chairman of the, quote, Digital Culture, Media, and Sport Select Committee. They did an 18-month-long investigation into so-called fake news and came out with a ridiculous, 100-plus page report here about Facebook, saying, quote, "Few individuals have shown contempt for our parliamentary democracy the way Mark Zuckerberg has. If one thing is uniting all politicians of all colors during this difficult time for our country, it is our determination to bring him and his company into line." So that's what they want to do. They don't think he's obedient enough. And as you pointed out, Vincent, the Facebook company is in bed with the government. I mean, they are no strangers to working with state agencies and federal agencies, and assuredly with, Scotland Yard or whoever is over there.
In Germany, they're working very closely with the government to monitor speech, and if someone says something that's illegal under, Germany's
German
ridiculous
law,
they have a cop sent up and they get arrested.
Wow.
So that's I forgot about that. So now if it's possible, I even have less sympathy, which is none. So it is impossible. But I think it's more evidence to say they're getting what they deserve.
The report warns Facebook it's using its market dominance to crush rivals, shutting them out of its systems to prevent them from competing with Facebook or its subsidiaries. Well, why would it want to allow rivals into its systems? I mean, that doesn't make much sense. But maybe what they're talking about is how, you can't easily syndicate posts to Facebook now. Meaning if it used to be that if you posted on Twitter, that you could then have that get picked up onto Facebook. There used to be an actual, interaction app between Facebook and Twitter that Facebook actually provided. They allow Twitter basically to use their API to allow you to sort of cross-post. They stopped that. So I think that's what they're referring to here when they're talking about letting their competitors access their systems. So Facebook was basically like, no, we don't want to let you post to Facebook from some other website. You have to come to us to do it. The committee also released new internal Facebook documents obtained from the company's legal dispute with a company called 643, which said that it, quote, highlights the link between friends' data and the financial value of the developer's relationship with Facebook. Companies like Facebook should not be considered to be, or not be allowed to behave like digital gangsters in the online world, considering themselves to be ahead of and beyond the law. Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And then they get into the kind of the lame-o response from Facebook to all this. So that's pretty much the story there on Facebook. And if you want to comment, of course, you're welcome to. You can bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live. Definitely a story that I wanted to cover that we just didn't have time for tonight is Massachusetts and other states in their marijuana sales, and looking at the numbers and finding out that, turns out the black market actually still has the majority of marijuana sales. Now, why is that?
I mean, I'd say from a personal standpoint, knowing nothing about prices down there, I'd say one big reason people would probably get it, in secret, right, for the black markets, because since it's still Schedule I federally, right? If you're a gun owner or if you have children, you might end up on a list of people who bought marijuana, and you could end up losing your guns, losing your kids, also getting fired from your job, all sorts of issues.
Yes, and it's just a lot cheaper in the black market due to all the insane taxes and regulation that has been put in these various states.
20% in Massachusetts?
In Massachusetts, yeah. 20% at the retail level.
Cumulative, all the taxes they put on.
No, it's just a retail tax of 20%. I don't know if there are wholesale taxes in Massachusetts. I'm not sure about that.
From what I remember, I thought it was there's the state tax, and then townships could put a tax, and all of that added up to 20%. It's not just
you may be right.
Flat thing.
Yeah, you might be right. But it's at the retail. So I don't know if there's a wholesale tax, meaning that when the grower sells to...
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about retail. Yeah,
right. So there may be other taxes. I just don't know for sure. I have not looked in detail at the Massachusetts laws. There's a story that is in the news, Vincent, and I don't think we can talk about it on the radio. I think we should save this for the uncensored or less sensory after show.
Can you give a hint about what it's about to get people's interest?
There's certain things in the world of radio that you just can't broach, right? Like
before or after 10 p.m.
After 10, well,
on the radio.
In broadcast radio in the United States, you're talking about this sort of safe zone or whatever.
Well, it's you can't break the FCC rules about words, but you can get into like indecent material.
You can be indecent after 10 p.m. Eastern time on the radio in the United States.
So would you be?
But you can't be what's called obscene.
So is this obscene or indecent?
I don't honestly know, because the difference between obscenity and indecency is really kind of hard to suss out.
If this was if we are at 10:01 right now, would you be able to read? Would you feel comfortable reading it?
No, just because when in doubt,
this is a good one.
This is about a politician. I'll tease what it's as much as I can. I'm going to try to say as much as I can about this story. It comes from RT, Russia Today, RT.com. It's about the Brazilian president, and I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name. Jair, Jair, Jair Bolsonaro, has received a deluge of criticism after tweeting an explicit video of something that happens at a performance at Carnival, and then followed up by claiming to not understand the term that he used. Let's just say it's a shower with a color in front of it.
Oh, it was the... Well,
I think just saying the terms would probably be okay, because it doesn't say specifically what it is. Essentially, it's a euphemism, but I still am not comfortable saying those terms on the radio.
I didn't listen to much radio about it, but it was that's what the Dirty Dossier covers of the whole, Russiagate thing. So I imagine it would be all right, but since we teased it so much, people.
The Dirty Dossier?
Yeah, the whole that thing BuzzFeed released about Trump, what he did, what he alleged.
Oh, in the hotel room.
Yeah, which was even the creator of the dossier, Christopher Steele, he refuses to talk about it. It's just obviously made up.
Okay, so this is the president of Brazil posting an explicit video and then acting like he didn't know what he just posted. We'll tell you more about it coming up here in a few minutes on our Twitch-only after show, because we can get explicit there. Twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Make sure you follow us there, and we'll see you tomorrow night for more Free Talk Live on the radio at freetalklive.com. But more again coming up in moments at twitch.lrn.fm.
It's been...
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your